Incremental greetings.
Incremental greetings.
So here once again we have the company of Winston, or you may want to be called
Oh,
Vimston.
yeah,
The Vim,
it's all fine.
the
The
Vim. No,
Vim,
sorry. The auto hotkey guru, among other things.
right? All right. Okay.
So you recently
Yeah, I
shared,
love it.
yeah, you recently shared
Mm-hmm.
your collections. Well, that was in your channel, by the way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I will include the links in the description, so you can
Okay.
check those. So you share those collections. It's been amazing. A lot of fancy stuff that I think you will be one of the very few people who has those flows
Mm.
with what's that component? The script component.
Script, binary also.
Unbinary component. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think today we can be more inclined to discuss rather than show some collections here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
For instance, just to put you in context, recently I did some videos that were targeted to non-SuperMemo users.
Mm-hmm.
One of that video was the minimum definition of incremental reading, something I want to
Mm.
discuss with you.
Yeah.
And the other was the comparison between SuperMemo and Anki. That doesn't make much sense. That I did the comparison, the
Mm.
analogy, comparing the storage capacity of a wardrobe and a Tesla car.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I understand, but
Yeah.
yeah, I watch those videos too.
I watched them.
But
Have you watched those videos already?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
well,
You,
I
you were not a target, by the way, but yeah, good to know.
right. Well, I run for 2 or 3 hours every day, and I would often watch your videos. Um, at 1.5 or 1.75 speed.
Okay.
Because I'm running. So
To match up the
yeah,
cadence,
you
though.
sound like that. Mhm.
So, I,
So I don't know. Yeah, about the analogy. Well, I guess I guess actually when I first heard of the analogy, the first thing I thought is, wow, like literally no people bought a Tesla for for its use as a wardrobe, right?
hmm.
Nobody just buy it to store things. There are many people uses SuperMemo just to make Q&A items. I'm pretty sure of it. Like I remember on the SuperMemopedia was says like many people just use the add card and learn function for many years.
Hmm.
And also Paul does it, right? Remember Paul, the mathematician?
Yeah.
He uses SuperMemo for a really long time, 7 or 8 years, and he only uses that one function, and it suits him. I mean, so that's a. Oh, I guess in this way, it is compatible. I suppose people comparing is mostly comparing like the two small parts of the two softwares
Hmm.
where it's similar and yeah, I guess it's just comparing the similar parts.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
what do you think?
yeah, well, the idea is because if you use just those two features, add new element and learn, you're not
Mm-hmm.
using incremental reading at all. You're using SuperMemo just for the flashcards. And the comparison
Yeah.
is like, yeah, it's like having a Tesla car that with a lot of features, but you're only using one of the basic features, that is the storage.
Mm.
And you want, as you said, you will not buy a Tesla car for storing. It's absurd, right? That's more or less what the
Mm.
comparison was about.
Well, but still, before SRS, there aren't exactly comparable algorithms at all, right? So,
Hmm.
Well, I can totally emphasize like people using SuperMemo just for the cards, before FSRS. So that's like 2 or 3 years ago. Um, but in terms of incremental reading, this is kind of like I don't know if I'm using the words correctly, but it's kind of a circular definition for like the minimum definition of incremental reading because SuperMemo sort of just invents incremental reading and really it just adds way too many features to this one word, two words actually, just one how do you say a proper noun, the capitalized I, and I don't know, in terms of just the minimum definition, I suppose this is more like Wozniak's minimum definition. I would have a different definition, I suppose, because recently for a really long time I've been even thinking, is it really necessary to make cards? Because for me, it seems just all I need is writing. So I don't know, writing, making notes, linking notes, and outstanding queue, priority. Those need to be enough for me. I mean, really.
So for you, the flashcards are not required for having an incremental reading flow.
I suppose, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think for the past years of using Anki and Superman, it kind of becomes a habit, just making cards. But I have been thinking about it, like, is it really, really, really necessary? Um, I'm not like saying get rid of flashcards altogether. Really, I don't think at least it is very useful in some instances, but I just in my learning, I think it's definitely possible with fewer cards and more writing and better learning results and even more pleasurable. Pleasurable. I don't know why that
Yeah,
word is so difficult to say.
yeah, pleasurability. Yeah.
Mm.
So then I want to make this distinction. When we say incremental reading, are you do you conceive this as a synonym of incremental learning in general, or just the
Kind
reading
of,
part?
yeah, kind of.
Okay. Because, for
Mm.
instance, I think Piotr Wozniak then also says incremental writing as if it was a different part of. You have incremental reading, incremental writing, na. So, and the umbrella of
Right.
all of this is incremental learning.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I know that, but I really don't think it should be really that separated. I mean, writing is really, really important to learning, in my opinion. I haven't noticed that before, but these years, I mean, it's been about 2 years that I have been more there. There is just more writing for me and less card making for me. Let's say card making, yeah, just less closing, more just writing down my thoughts and linking together. But I don't know, it's very personal, and for me it's like 100, basically 100% free learning. Yeah. When I was in school, I don't think there was any writing at all. When I in school, it's just cards.
Oh, that's a good insight. So the flow you
Yeah.
have with a lot of writing and thought process behind, it's only when you do what you want to do. You don't have also
Yeah.
any deadline or pressure
Yeah.
to have something.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
but I did use incremental writing for papers. Yeah,
for
that's true.
papers, the scientific papers, you
Yeah, for
mean?
papers, for college papers,
Uh,
like the final papers,
oh,
all the
okay.
writings you need to do in college.
I don't know. We don't do this in Spain. You only
Oh, you
do
don't do any writing in Spanish colleges.
well. Not I don't know today, but when I was in the school system, not much writing to be honest. It was more like drilling than writing.
Drilling? Really?
Creative writing like an essay. That was only
I think, yeah.
much later in the post obligatory education in
Oh,
philosophy
okay.
and all of that. But most of the education system, at least before, there is no
Mm,
creativity. You cannot write an essay.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Interesting. It probably depends on the subject too.
Yeah, yeah. I did the STEM, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of math and
Ah,
so
yeah.
on. So
Mm-hmm.
this involves
Yeah.
less essays. Yeah, I'm sure.
Less writing, definitely.
Less
Yeah.
writing. Yeah. Then going back to what you said, the insight that okay, since I do a lot more writing, what happens with writing is that you activate this in your memory. You think about those concepts and relationships more often. So you're
Mm-hmm.
having some kind of repetition, natural repetition in your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So therefore, you don't require as much repetition, artificial repetitions,
Yeah.
based
Yeah.
on flashcards. So kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I want to I want to talk to people about this too
Hmm.
because I read a lot about Wozniak's articles about how himself gets into this all the flashcard making business. Uh, I remember like in one piece of article,
Hmm.
one sort of personal anecdotes in his guru articles. He says he had this he still had this kind of obsession about making items, like literally everything. Like he think it's important to know like I don't know, for an intelligent person to know like the history of chemistry, biology, at least the basics. In
Hmm.
his opinion, I think that's basic. That's basically his wording, and also he's kind of obsessive about remembering like other people's birthdays, other life events. I know, I think that's all right, but to know a lot, I think that is his motive, and I really doubt that should be the motive like of most people. I really
Hmm.
doubt the idea like intelligent people should know everything. I mean, I suppose I suppose when it's pleasurable, sure, why not? I
Hmm.
mean, I learn a lot of things, but I can totally relate. Like some people like only want to learn about music or math or biology. I don't know. I think that's solid too. I mean, that's valid. Let's say,
Hmm.
you know, I mean, in school system is not, but I think in a society which values creativity and just just individuals contributing to the society, just for the to maximize their utility, let's say. I don't know, I'm
Hmm.
kind of running out of words here.
Yeah,
um
that you don't learn for the sake of learning and having a base
yeah,
on a lot of domains, but you will never
yeah,
apply that knowledge.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, I'd say Wozniak, this, at least this idea from was, it is somewhat from school. I don't know, somewhat. I'm not sure
Ooh.
if it's like, yeah, if he has not gone to school, I have no idea if he would still think of that. I really don't know.
So I could say, more or less rephrasing, that it's about not having knowledge holes into basics,
Mm.
that you don't want to fully neglect one domain.
Sorry, can you rephrase that?
Yeah. So let's say that I know nothing about chemistry at all. Zero.
Mm.
I only know
Mm-hmm.
that chemistry is about products and but there's a table, periodic table, I have the idea,
Mm.
and that's it. So I haven't
Mm.
learned anything. So I
Yeah.
think that will have that we could say that is a knowledge gap of a basic domain of knowledge. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, based on what you mentioned, is that Piotr doesn't want any knowledge gap, at least on the basics of the fundamental domains of knowledge. That this should be covered.
Mm.
Or you could say, yeah, it's an intelligent person, but has this hole in chemistry, or the very basics, or I don't know, or math.
Mm. Yeah, but I should in what's next defense. I think he also wants to learn these subjects, so he has a genuine interest in
Hmm.
them. It's not like it's not like, oh, in order to be a polymath, you have to learn this and that, and even though you don't like it. Um, yeah, I think those are all connected. Chemistry, biology. I mean, those are connected in a way that was does use those subjects in his work.
Hmm.
Um, like I think he has a basic knowledge of math, not too deep, I think. I mean, judging by his thoughts and the lack of latex in SuperMemo. And
No pun intended. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no pun. Okay. Anyway, um, and so well, if I mean, if the interest is genuine, it's absolutely valid to learn all the subjects too. I mean, that's okay too. So I guess my point is, like, in a perfect society, let's say, everyone should be learn exactly what they want, and this kind of they want is difficult to measure, actually, to figure out, let's say, because at least in the current society, most people have gone to school, and this process already destroys, like, their perception of what they actually want to learn. So that also takes time and effort, and probably a lot of time along with themselves, like, for figuring out what they really are, what they really like, what they have passion about. Probably involves meditating and whatever. Yeah, I have been meditating a lot these years too.
Okay.
Mm.
So just to keep more or less on track. So I have one genuine example, and super recently, like last week.
Mm.
So I came across one word that I wasn't familiar with, called ontology.
Ontology,
Okay, for me it was new. I never heard this. And it's okay, it's related to knowledge. And oh wow, now I discovered that I can put words on something that I wanted to share, to communicate. I couldn't, because I had no words for that. It was too abstract. And then I realized I import this into Wikipedia page. And then see also or the hyperlinks on the description. Oh, this other page. And then I see, it's related to information science, computer science, artificial intelligence. But hey, that's also the perspective of philosophy.
Yeah.
And it's so many domains that I cannot say that what I want, what I'm pursuing, it's not that discrete. That, hey, I'm interested in computer science or artificial intelligence. It's too broad. And it's overlapping other domains, because then I read about the philosophy and I really like it. It's a different flavor, but I also like it. So it's, at the end of the day, is I cannot simplify and make it discrete. That I like this to learn this, and that, and anything else outside of this scope, it's not of my interest, because I see that it's so I would say most of the time will be of my interest, and the other domain, let's say chemistry, will be less of my interest. But if it overlaps with health, for instance, then it sparked my interest. And I'm not faking it. That, I will pretend this is fun because I need it to apply it in my life. So I avoid some ingredients or whatever. No, it just naturally, my brain says, hey, this is interesting. Dig further into this.
It's more like following a concept chain, let's say, from ontology to, like, the meaning in philosophy and in computer science, and whatnot. So it's less of a subject issue in this case. It's more like just following one concept to another. It's more like the concept linking. So I guess in this case, subject doesn't matter, right?
But so the example was because if you read the articles in Wikipedia, they say, hey, this is from mathematical point of view, or from graph theory,
Yeah,
or from computer science. Like, hey, that's the narrow scope you have. That all of those concepts are just for this domain. And I think mainly, yes, it will be more intense in this domain, but there are a lot of overlapping domains all of the time. This is cognitive psychology. No, this is neuropsychology. No, this is social cognitive psychology or whatever. So, like, they are niching down the domain, branching it down. But yeah, I could see it in a different ways, the point of view at the end of the day. I don't see that discrete, that this is that, this is that.
Yeah.
And some domains are created
Mm.
like a lot later.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, this domain has only existed for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's made up. It's made by one person that according to that person makes sense to branch it like that. But that doesn't mean that it's true for me. I could branch it from a different perspective. That's why now in SuperMemo, I don't use concepts as before. Now are
Mm.
more general because I don't have this perspective that no, I want to niche down and this is social psychology. I did a video that they have like 12 different psychology concepts to
Mhm.
further specify the psychology. And now it's just one.
Yeah, in terms of concept, well, I think your principle, your minimum concept principle apply to you, and that's good. But just in terms of a more general learning principle, I think one should just create concept that like they really feel they really desire to like make them separate enough. So mm, it's kind of still it's kind of like every concept is a goal. Like every concept is some kind of um let's it's kind of different to put it into words. Let's make some kind of examples.
Hmm?
For example, I have multiple in my reading collection. So the collection where I just make closes all the time, not writing.
Hmm?
In that collection, I have a lot of concepts about health and health biology, biochemistry, and I have a whole lot of concepts because those are important to me to make the distinction, and that's all. I mean, that's all important for me. Like I need to make the distinction, even it's very simple. Maybe just sleep and sleep deprivation. I have those two concepts. I
Hmm.
have sleep because I need to learn more about sleep. Um well, just simple as that. I want to learn more about sleep. Anything is sleep related,
Hmm.
just in my brain, it's under the sleep concept, and that's enough. And if in my brain it's under sleep deprivation concept, like, oh, I don't know, I need to learn about sleep deprivation and the effects on body, on the human body, and also the sleep deprivation, and I don't know, its current status in the society, how it's affecting people, whatever.
Hmm.
So it's a concept, and maybe I will also like encounter like, oh, the different, I don't know, those kind of nutrients also have impact on sleep. And when I encounter those articles, my brain sort of have another value system that tells me, oh, is it more suitable under nutrition or under sleep? And most of the time my brain just tell me, okay, you read this article because you want to get better. You want to know nutrition better, so this goes under the concept of nutrition. And maybe my brain also my brain tells me in another article, you're reading this because you want to sleep better, so this goes under the sleep concept. So I don't know, I guess in my way of categorizing this, it's more like just how my brain is telling me what to do. And this kind of
Hmm.
categorizing is helpful because most of the time I learn a concept is exactly what I need. I mean, pretty much exactly, because I just I know like everything under this concept has served an exact purpose. Better sleep, know more about nutrition, and you know,
Hmm.
just so yeah, that's
Could
concept for me.
could we say that more or less how you perceive concepts is by the intention you have, the learning
Yeah,
intention you have
definitely.
from them? So even if let's pretend one fictional example that they have
Mm.
one source, 90% it's about sleep, but just
Mhm.
5% of the content is about nutrition as well. So it's
Mhm.
just a detail in the article. But for me as a
Mhm.
user, that's my evaluation because that's what I want to learn from the article. Since
Mhm.
my intention is to learn the nutrition aspect of learning, how
Uh-huh. Yeah.
the relationships. Then, even if most of the content is about sleep, I will still put it. I will still put the concept as nutrition, even if
Hmm.
it's just a
Yeah.
small part, because my intention overrides the source.
Yeah.
So I don't care
I mean,
what the
that works.
source is about, but it's my
Uh-huh.
what my intention for it is about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I would also use my incremental web browsing script.
Hmm.
You know, I can just get this part into the nutrition concept and just
Yeah,
forget about rest of the article. I can do that.
that will be the extreme example that you just care about this, nothing else, and even if
Yeah.
it's about sleep, it will be in the nutrition. Hmm.
No, no, just the nutrition part of the article
Yeah,
under the
yeah, yeah.
nutrition concept.
Exactly,
And in the
exactly.
browser, yeah, and in the browser there's a highlight and yeah, just that.
May I
Yeah.
ask, does this change when you write? So let's say you write about how the sleep affects, how the nutrition can affect the sleep.
Well, this just goes under, I don't know, health concept, I suppose,
So,
because I'm writing about health.
one observation here is that the concept doesn't need to be the same when you're
Of
reading
course.
that when you are writing.
Of course. I mean, concept is just goals or tools of categorization,
Hmm.
um, and linking, probably. You know, you need to link something. So maybe I have this, I don't know, I have this video of comparing Russian and Polish, and I just throw this article into my mixed language concept and just link Russian and Polish to this element. You know, just for linking yeah, for linking is very useful too.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, kind of a concept thing. Concept tagging thing, you made a video about.
Yeah, the concept tags, right? Using the T.
Yeah.
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 Uh, by the way, very related to this, you know that when you export a collection in SuperMemo as an
Mm,
XML file, you have a lot of
mm,
data, but precisely linked concepts, this data
mm,
is not exported.
Yeah, I'm aware.
You're aware. What?
Mm.
So, well, it's a question that it's redundant because you already did it. So, for you, it's worth doing all of those links, even if they become trapped in SuperMemo. You cannot.
Well, I mean, you can extract it in some way. I mean, in the future, I will definitely think of a way to export all the way. I mean, I mean, worst case scenario, you, you I don't know, you just sort of probe into SuperMemo a little bit. I suppose it's always possible to extract stuff. I mean, I can do it with AHK, auto hotkey. I can just open the concept link and get a list, you know, just and that's kind of one element at a time. So that's tedious, but it's always doable. And when you transfer elements, those links are also preserved, I think. So that's kind of helpful.
I haven't tried.
Transfer to another collection.
Good to know. Hmm.
Yeah, I think Superman is kind of surprising in this way because I wouldn't think was to take care of all these little things. But something more surprising is if you have those inner HTML links. So you select one part of the text and you set it when you click this part of the text, you go to another element.
Hmm.
Those kind of links are also preserved when you move the two elements into another collection. So it has to be all two elements are moved at the same time,
Hmm.
and those links are preserved. But otherwise, it wouldn't. But still, I mean, it's kind of surprising that Woods would do that. Yeah,
Perhaps it was unintentional. You never know.
I don't know. This is hardly. I mean, this would need to change the HTML file, so I don't think so. This is.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
don't think it's unintentional.
It's because
Mm.
I asked this to one of the SuperMemo employees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and according to that person, it's not going to be added this feature. So the export is not going to be updated. to cover the
Wow.
links and all of that. So it is acting like a break for me because I wanted to try this with the concept tags and linking so I can use the neural review, but knowing that I cannot export this easily in a file if I
Hmm.
ever want to move my collection from a different piece of software, is I don't know if that time investment, sorry, is worth it.
No, well, I don't think there's that much involvement. But worst case scenario, you just get stuck with one software forever. That's not really the worst case scenario for me. I mean, I don't care.
Hmm.
A SuperMemo is capable enough to link to other software. I mean the script component is sufficient if you want to use SuperMemo in conjunction with Obsidian, and
Hmm.
no, just the script component can do a lot of things. You can get a link inside, and this would work with any web apps, Notion, even Apple Notes. So
So we could say,
yeah,
sorry.
no problem. Yes.
Uh, so we could say that with your other trickery and
Mm.
hacker level auto hotkey scripts,
Mm.
it's enough. It's feature proof enough for you, SuperMemo.
Future proof, I wouldn't say, but it fits the needs for me now,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't say it's future proof. It's just I don't care about the future enough.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
very YOLO kind of personality. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess it could be weird, this coming from me because I have savings. I'm using SuperMemo, so that's kind of future proof for my knowledge, and I'm kind of all the long term thinking guy. But still, I think it's very important to live in the moment, and we'll always figure out ways moving forward. I am confident about that. I will think
Hmm.
of ways to explore. I will think of ways to to move my data. I will think of something in the future if I really need to.
Oh, even if it's an auto hotkey script that's good,
Yeah,
that
even it's
goes,
autohotkey, that's
yeah, even if it
clunky.
goes element by element and
Yeah.
gets yeah, that will be the most force, brute
I
force.
have done that. I have done I have done like script that process every single element. I really have done that. I mean,
Oh wow.
during some of the script transitions, I wrote a script for that. I wrote script for element per element, those kind of one by one conversions. I mean, I just think um, there always is a way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's
So just
let me
enjoying it
rephrase
now.
it. You're confident enough on your skills that you will find a way to
Yeah.
extract any part, even if it's binary or cannot be
Yeah.
linked and it's through the UI, even if it's
Yeah.
automated. Okay.
Also, I'm working on I don't know what's the right word for it. I'm incrementally reading the source code for SuperMemo Assistant. So
Hmm.
yeah, that could be helpful. I mean, I haven't seen, I really haven't seen anything that hotkey cannot do, but I mean, it could be helpful
Hmm.
in terms of exports and.
Then this question will be superseded. Instead of asking if you think SuperMemo is for the future proof, is the real question for you is: do you think auto hotkey is future proof?
I don't
Because now
know. Well,
it's
if AutoHotkey isn't, I can use another programming language. I mean, it's not a
okay.
problem.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, on a computer, there's always a way.
Hmm.
I mean, computer science is just way too big, and well, not now you even have GPT to ask. So
Hmm.
there's just always a way. Just keep learning computer science, and there's nothing you cannot do really.
Do you think an intelligent person requires to learn
Mm-hmm.
computer science?
Nope. definitely not. I mean, intelligent people can hire people who knows computer science to write stuff for them. I'm all for that.
Okay. A related question. Do you think to take most of the power from SuperMemo, the user is required to learn this trickery without hotkey or similar?
Nope,
Okay.
nope. I totally think just the ABC, add question and learn, and that's enough.
May I,
Absolutely, for
okay.
most people.
May I ask
Mm.
what is your how you will define incremental reading?
I wouldn't define it at all, honestly. I would I wouldn't define it at all, really. I just okay, so my reasoning would be reading or watching videos or doing stuff or talking to people. Those are all forms of learning.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of against too many categorizations, too okay, I should phrase it like that. I don't like when people categorize things too much. Like incremental reading, okay, that's a categorization. What has definitions for it? It's way too personal. Like it
Hmm.
should be I should be literally Wozniak's definition about incremental reading or SuperMemo's definition about incremental reading.
Hmm.
I would hardly say I am incremental reading. I mean, from a SuperMemo point of view, I am, but I don't want to use the word on me, um, like when I talk to people who don't know incremental reading. Okay, that's
Hmm.
when I'm talking to you, you know what incremental reading is. Then sure, I'm incremental reading. I'm doing it all the time. I like it. But to most people, I could just say I'm reading. I'm reading and I make flashcards sometimes,
Hmm.
and I write down my thoughts sometimes, and that's enough. It really is enough. I mean, I have all the priority queues. Okay, I have the concepts. All right, those are for reading management. Those are not. I don't think those are central to my reading. Without them, I am sure I can still read well. I mean, I read novels, or other kind of psychology books or books about meditation on my phone all the time. I'm still quite happy about it, just read on my phone, even without taking any notes. Maybe sometimes I would take a break and go
Hmm.
take a walk and think about what I just read. And sometimes I just sit down and just relax or just meditate about those books for a while. I don't know, just find your way of learning, I suppose. Just find the way to maximize the pleasure. Oh
Ah,
my God, that
okay.
sounds so uh, uh, Epicurean. That sounds so Epicurean.
Okay.
Yeah, but I guess my point is, mm,
So
yeah.
then, what happens is that it's kind of been kind of recently, the few months, that I pay extra attention to semantics, how people
Hmm.
word it, word expressions, and especially with Piotr. Now that when I read most of what he has written,
Hmm.
and first, what struck me is that incremental reading is an invention, according to
Hmm.
him.
Hmm.
So we could say it's an invention, then that is why it's your own vision, your own definition of incremental reading, because you invented that.
Hmm.
Do you agree? Do you think incremental reading, your flow, what you have mentioned, is something you discovered or is something you have invented or someone
I
else
would say
invented?
it's I would say it was an natural inclination. I wouldn't say it's. I mean, we're getting philosophical, really.
Yeah.
We're getting too philosophical. I mean,
Yeah.
did Edison invent the light bulb, or it's his natural inclination to make light bulb? I don't know, man. Like we're discussing the we're discussing the definition of invention, and we're getting more into semantics. Oh my God, this is philosophy of linguistics right there, you know. So okay, let's just, I don't know, let's just follow the normal people's definition about invention, and I would say yes, Wozniak did come to those tools by himself. So yeah, he invented it. He used concepts, priority queues, close algorithms, blah blah blah, whatnot. Yeah, what, just all those things. So yeah, he invented it.
Okay. Then he also has one article about the inevitability. The incremental reading. It's inevitable. That's hard to pronounce for me. Sorry about that. It's inevitable to be discovered.
Inevitable.
Or sorry, not discovered, reinvented by other people.
It's inevitable to be.
Exactly. That even if they have no contact, no knowledge that this exists, and perhaps they don't use the same terminology to describe the same concepts, they will come across the same ideas and create more or less the same experience as incremental reading in parallel.
Yeah, I mean it's conceivable.
It's conceivable. That's why now if I'm pounding this difference that everyone is inventing an overlapping idea of incremental reading eventually, or they are discovering this in a very high level with a priority queue and a subset, with all of that, hey, I'm making aware that learning is a non-linear process. And how much I enjoy that takes a huge part on deciding what to learn and all of that. So you start with this, and you will end up thinking about incremental reading.
Yeah, I think the keyword you just mentioned is non-linear. I can kind of think, yeah, maybe if I have to define like incremental reading, at least my way of reading, I would just use this one word, non-linear. That's all enough. I mean, all the priorities, concepts, and the subset learning, that's all for non-linear learning. And I guess people can get a lot from non-linear learning. Like, okay, just Nicholas Luhmann, the inventor of Jatakasan, and his reading is kind of also, I'm hesitant to use the word sporadic. I don't think it's that sporadic, but he definitely follows his interests, and it's definitely non-linear. And even though there aren't exactly categorizations and sorting like just concepts and priority queues, even though there aren't tools like that, he sort of just employs it with his mind, what he enjoys the most currently and what he needs now, he can just go find it. Yeah. Also the concept thing, he has some kind of hub notes, I think, just one note, and that note in there, it says like there's a concept and the article, it's related articles just in that note, so that's linking to that there whatever, and then on that note there's more linking and stuff. Yeah,
but we could also say that he's writing.
Yeah, he's writing. Yeah, he's writing, and that's his outputting. He's not just inputting knowledge all the time. He's also outputting knowledge all the time. It's kind of like closing at some point, because I think making flashcards and reviewing flashcards is also a method of outputting knowledge. I have come to the conclusion that it's not natural enough for me. But I suppose for some people it could be. I suppose for medical students it's definitely enough. I don't think. Well, if you're a medical student and you have a ton to memorize, it's not really the best use of time to like write everything down to I don't know, to make a textbook yourself. Yeah.
Oh, great synthesis. Yeah.
Great what?
Great summary.
Summary. Yeah.
So that to make a textbook
Mm.
yourself.
Mm.
Uh, Wait a second. It's I have more questions. Instead of answers, I have more questions every time. Yeah. So we said that we could describe incremental reading as a non-linear learning, non-linear
Mm-hmm.
process.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
that is just the opposite way to describe the curriculum-based learning. That you have some
Yeah.
linearity
Yeah.
imposed. That this is next to this lesson, this is next, and you go through this in a linear
Mm-hmm.
fashion.
Mm.
So when you break this and you do whatever you want, then there's
Mm.
no need to have this linear fashion curriculum based learning,
Mm.
even if no one is pushing you to do it.
Mm. Yeah. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking about like my piano learning
Mm.
journey. Uh, I remember like when I first got into, I only learned from a teacher like for not 1 year, just short, just a little bit under 1 year, I think.
Mm.
Um, and all the rest of the time I just learned by myself. And I think like the time when I learned from the teacher, my teacher just told me to like, oh, you need to practice first, then this, then this. Like okay, you need to finish this book, then that book, then that book. And I when I started practicing myself, I sort of still following those mindset. I mean, I learned to pick the books myself, but I still think okay, to get a good basis on the piano, I still need to like finish this book and finish all those practices and just but later I realized later something has been quite enlightening for me is how I was reading an article or a video, I forgot.
Mm.
It's about a pianist who just says you just need to practice the things, the pieces you like, and that's enough. Like you don't need any kind of fingering practice. You can do that, it's fine. But it's still best to do it in in real music, not the practices that makes your finger numb.
Mm.
I mean, this is pretty much why I started a piano collection. Like I need this non-linear way of like finishing a book. Bach, for example, Bach has like multiple suites and and Klavierübung. I forgot how to pronounce it. It basically means keyboard practices, and he
Mm.
publishes 3 books. A lot of composers do that. They publish books, and I suppose as a typical piano student, you're expected to finish like this book and that book and that book. Definitely not non-linear. I suppose for students who are really really good, it's well, it's all right, or maybe just follow whatever your teacher told you. But um yeah, so I guess this non-linear way of learning can apply to a lot of fields, and yeah, it does make learning most pleasurable because when I'm practicing like non-linearly, it's very easy to find out the pieces that I really like. I really
Mm.
have a good I don't know, sorry, emotional bonding too, I suppose. And I can spend the most time practicing it. Like I don't need to use any willpower to practice those pieces. I can just practice them. I suppose that applies to the piano, but that also applies to any kind of learning. Just find the fields, the video courses or a book that you're really passionate about, and just read every day, just watch them every day. You know.
It doesn't require willpower because you're doing what you
Mm-hmm.
want.
Yeah. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's also a very good summary, let's say. Just not using any willpower. Just if you're I suppose if you're just notice that you're using willpower, that's probably a good sign that okay, you're probably probably your material isn't good for you. Probably your method isn't exactly suitable for you. So yeah, that's also a good way. Willpower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is one related insight that I did the other day.
Mm,
That before I use SuperMemo for many hours a day, and now I use it a lot less. And in
mm,
some weeks or months, I will use it even for minutes, not even an hour, right?
mm,
But
mm,
if you ask me how much you're using SuperMemo, my answer is the same, as I want to.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because even if I have 8 hours a day free, that doesn't mean I will use SuperMemo for 8 hours and for learn
Mm,
using
mm,
incremental reading for 8 hours. So it's hard to describe that. Yeah, the answer is always the same, as much as I want to. I won't use it more, I won't use it longer than what I want to,
mm,
even if I have available time.
mm.
Because what I do at the end of the day is what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way because I remember some of the times I get burned out from my incremental reading collection. It's kind of
Hmm.
funny that I never feel the feeling of burnout from my writing collection. I don't know why. Probably okay. I really don't know why. But for the reading collection, but
Hmm.
I can totally see myself like multiple times. Um, just trying to make close. I have done that several times. Not let's see that. I I have multiple times just obsessively trying to read an article and multiple times trying to make closes and probably not doing it incrementally. I mean, if I were to summarize the process, like I want to immediately finish the article. I have multiple times have this kind of obsession and I don't like it. And in the writing collection, I don't have that feeling ever. I have never felt I have to process an article and write every single thought about it.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I find it interesting that incremental reading would give people, or maybe it's just me, I'm not sure. Um, Maybe people, I don't know, but it would definitely give me anxiety sometimes, like about processing it.
The fear of missing out, perhaps.
Not precisely missing out, just some kind of obsession, some kind of I want to finish this right here and right
Hmm.
now. Mm. It's difficult to phrase it. Like I want to read this, I want to read that, I want to read all my open tabs. I want to read all my open tabs, get them to SuperMemo, and make at least one or two closes. This, mm, yeah.
And it's unsustainable. You cannot do this for long.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm.
But it doesn't happen very often. I just remember it happened one or two or three times. I'm not sure. I just remember it happened to me a few times,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's incremental, but the obsession is difficult to avoid for me at least.
Difficult to
Yeah,
avoid.
difficult to avoid because
Hmm.
sometimes a concept is way too interesting for me, and I do want to just process everything. But okay, I suppose at least for me, when I use Superman more often, I have come to the I have determined like some ways to just get the links in SuperMemo and you can read it later on. Maybe later on if you find it unworthy, to learn, you can just delete the link. I have just just started to use this kind of simple way of processing at some point, and the obsession definitely definitely just goes away a little bit. I'm not sure what it will come back or not, but then again, this is probably just for me, Yeah.
Another question that I had for you is I think now I have so many thoughts recently that I cannot pinpoint what was previous to the other one. But
Okay.
let's say recently, I described that what you do in incremental reading, when you take your own notes in a site, in a topic, it's like having a conversation with yourself, your past
Yeah.
self and your future self. So this non-linearity allows you to have this conversation with you in different stages of time.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the case for me in my writing collection. I just talk to my past comments all the time.
Yeah, can you do you have some anecdote or something that is worth, like some golden nuggets related to this, that when you came across something that is very, well, it's old, or perhaps you didn't remember that oh, did I wrote this before?
Yeah, I have thought of that because some of my notes are weird, let's say. Some of my notes are sort of written way too quickly, and some of them are just gibberish. Some of them are just I want to get my thoughts down immediately, and some of them are just catharsis. That happens too.
But gibberish in the sense of many typos, or in the sense that doesn't make sense?
No. Just make just makes very little sense. Just
Okay.
maybe it makes sense to the context that I'm writing it, but not making too much. It's just not useful. Let's say, not 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 noteworthy. Let's say, because those are technically notes, like notes about an article, and those are those are gibberish. Gibberish notes, not exactly helpful notes, let's say. Yeah.
But that day you did it because you thought it was important enough to jot it down for your
Or maybe
future
I'm not,
self.
maybe I just want to type down something. It happens too. Yeah. I just want to write. Sometimes when an extract comes up and I have thoughts, I just start writing immediately. I don't think too much. I just start writing. I mean, my thought process is always like, whatever, I'll just write first. I can always delete later,
Yeah, that happened to me. Also, kind of recently, this year. That let's say is, oh, I have just a short time here in my schedule. Now let's do some incremental reading for half an hour top, because I don't have that much time. And then I do 2 reps. At the second repetition,
2 reps.
It triggers me. Oh, wow, I'm thinking a lot. I go super sidetracked. And then I really enjoyed, and I enjoyed more than I would have expected. But then I check my stats, and oh shit, I only did 2 repetitions yesterday. Yeah, because even if my intention was doing the outstanding Q, let's say, so mostly items, without being just items, I also do some reading. But I get so philosophical, let's say, so into it, that then I quickly shift my focus into, let's say, thinking, not necessarily writing.
Thinking.
Yeah, thinking, because I call it thinking. You know why? Because that's based on my specific flow, that I don't write because at least I never developed a good typing speed with the keyboard, that I record myself. So I have a voice.
Oh.
I have a voice note. I have an entire Discord server with bots that I put things there as a quick voice note like this for myself, for my future self.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I
I've
have.
thought of that.
So I have
I have
literally
thought of,
for a year
and I
and
set up a server for that.
yeah, for a year and a half, I have a full-fledged Discord server just to talk to my future selves. it's,
Oh my
it's
god, that's
yeah.
that's something I have definitely need to try because Discord is very useful in that way. You know, you have every message as a separate link, and you can
Yeah.
record yourself.
You can
Yeah.
record. Well, I think only with the phone, not the computer. But you can send.
Oh yeah, but it's still useful.
You can send voice notes, attach images, links. So it's heterogenic. It's whatever that
Uh,
it is binary.
yeah.
Boom, it goes there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I've thought of that, but I never used that because I'm too used to sending myself emails.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I just go through the my server. Let's see, and implicitly
Hmm.
you have the timestamp of that message. So you have the metadata when this was added, and I could have a convention with emoji that hey, this is covered already. I won't delete it
Oh
because I want it in
yes.
my server like a copy, but I could quickly see oh this is covered. I can and I can
Oh
search.
my God.
I have a full-fledged search functionality. And on top of that, I have channels. So I can have a semantic segregation of what I want. That's a quick note.
Wow.
That's related to AI, how to generate like some prompt engineering that I have that goes in a specific place. It's not knowledge per se. It is prompt to get knowledge or images related. And I can also have bots that when some YouTuber content creator shares a video, it goes there. So I will see it yes or
Hmm.
yes, regardless
That's so
of the
cool.
account. And this is massive.
Oh. Oh,
Yes.
对.
Sorry for the tangent. Yeah.
There's also YouTube bots, right? Oh, yeah, Discord bots.
For YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. I was interrupting. I was just thinking bots can be also very useful. Yeah.
That's what I thought. That hey, what if some of my flow is in Discord, not in
Hmm.
SuperMemo anymore? And it's just like, let's say that the concept hook is in Discord, not in SuperMemo.
Hmm.
And I
Oh
use
God.
a Discord channel as a concept hook of quick notes, thoughts that I just record, and whatever. And I have a
Yeah.
phone. I can use Discord on the phone. So I could be outside at home, in the gym, whatever context. As long as I have connection, I will send it over to
Yeah.
my server.
I was thinking it's not too difficult to even develop a FSRS bot too. You know, the SRS bot. I mean, you can
Hmm.
you can sort of implement some kind of scheduling in your Discord server. Oh my god. Oh my god, Discord as a knowledge management tool.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's still a companion. It's not a. It doesn't happen there. But
Well, in
yeah.
my opinion, you can totally manage knowledge there if you're how do you say it, good with bots.
Hmm.
You know, if you develop the right bots, you can definitely do it.
Hmm.
Hmm. That's an interesting thought, really, and
Yeah.
that's a
And I did
very
this.
interesting idea.
I started this tangent, and I cannot recall from where we
Hmm.
talked that I mentioned. Why I mentioned Discord to begin with.
I don't know, but you definitely need to send me or send us, you know, the SMWiki server. You definitely need to send some screenshots. I'm very curious about your
Hmm.
server, like your channels, your notes. Hmm. Yeah, right. Well, we're talking about how I make comments on how I make comments or notes on
Oh,
articles and books, and you said you have
yeah.
voice comments.
Now
Yeah.
I'm visiting there mentally. Yeah. When I
Right.
said thinking, not writing, because
Mm.
I do it in a transformative way. Instead of writing right
Mm.
away, I just speak it out loud. I have the recording. I
Mm.
can have, if I want, what's it called? That process. You get the text out of the video. There's a word for this. Transcript. Yeah, I have the
Right. Yeah.
transcript, or I even listen to myself
Mm.
because of the intonation. All of that, it's giving me more information because
More personal.
more personal because I'm recognizing this tone, so I can more or less estimate the degree of how enthusiastic I was. That this is lost in text.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was reading about paper testing.
Hmm?
They have something called anti-net.
And
Some is that is something about paper testing, like how Luhmann does it. And someone mentioned that it's more intimate to read your past self's handwriting. Uh, that's something lacking from a computer, and I doubt it first when I heard about it. Then I realized when I read about my previous note, I did feel some kind of distance, from my previous self. That does not feel like does not feel like myself. And but when I write in a more kind of more passionate way, I just jot down every single thoughts and doesn't interrupt myself, that doesn't try to compose a very good sentence. It kind of feels more intimate. So I suppose there is a way. And yeah, voice messages are an awesome way to make the comment, to make the note more intimate. Yeah. And well, on Discord you can record yourself, and you can get the link to the recorded message. You can get it in SuperMemo as well, I suppose. Yeah.
the, wow,
Yeah.
I just realized it. I made this connection because I'm extremely biased because I particularly dislike handwriting myself. I never.
Mm.
The last time I used paper was the last time I was forced in the school system to use paper.
Mm.
Because back in the day, I was born in the late 80s, so I hadn't had a computer for most of my schooling experience. So I never used paper at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have pens at home, basically.
Mm.
So that's why, personally, I prefer to record audio. But you realize, I made this realization while you were speaking, that this happened to me when I read my own notes from 2 years or 3 years ago in SuperMemo, that it's just the letters, the string at the end of the day, because it's virtual. It's not a piece of handwriting that I had.
Mm.
It is less human. It is less human. It's less personal because it's just and it looks different because perhaps I did it in a way with my styling, and now I see it on my current styling. So it's just the
Mm.
content that is the same. But then what happened? That recently, as today, I always say recently today. I don't know why. I started doing shorts, and did some shorts of kind of old videos from 2021. So a 3-year-old video. And I'm listening to myself, and yes, more or less, I remember what I said, the scope of the ideas I shared, but I forgot the exact phrasing and how I say it, or like this.
Mm.
Since I watched the video, this is more personal because it's not just the audio. In this case, it's the recording, the video instead.
Mm.
And this is hits different when if I just see the YouTube transcript of the same video. It will be the same words. I
Mm.
will
Mm.
have said the
Yeah.
exact because it's one-on-one transcript. Because back in the day, I did manual captions, by the way. So they were automatic and then edited to match what I said.
Mm.
So if I compare this, it's not just the memory recall that could be different, the quality. It
Mm-hmm.
just when it's new, I'm visiting this today again. It hits different than if it's just a
Hmm.
text.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
imagine, yeah,
Mhm.
imagine,
No, no, you go ahead.
imagine with I could simulate that. So I have the words in binary, and hey, embody this to myself. So pretend I did handwriting of that, or pretend I
Mm.
emulate my voice. So speak this aloud.
Mm.
If it was me, but no, not me from today. the me from the time stamp of the notes. So from 2021, that was mispronouncing English more than today, and I could see some difference. That hey, I know it's me, but identify this as me, but not as today. It's not the same version of me. That will be awesome.
Fascinating. In terms of English, yeah, I was just thinking, does it matter like the language? You feel any difference? Do you record voice messages in Spanish or
Oh,
English?
that's a good question.
Yeah, do you feel any difference at all?
Yeah, I do sound different, but because of the language features. So, for instance, in
How so?
English, you don't have so many open vowels or next to each other, so the quality is different. But regardless of
yeah.
regardless of that, I usually take my notes in English. But it's not a requirement or a convention that hey, I want to be consistently in English. Is that it's just easier for me. I just pick. I'm lazy, so I pick what is easier for me. And if I want a note to later on watch it, listening to it, it will be heavily likely to be in English. But I still have some notes that let's say that I don't recall that word, but I want to prioritize quickness. So even if it's English, the baseline is English, there are words in other languages here and there in the same sentence. Because it's for me, it's not for someone else. Therefore, I can tolerate it's not nonsensical, but that I'm mixing languages because I know what I mean, because I speak those languages. So even if I have one Spanish word, one Catalan word, one Japanese, sometimes even Korean words here and there, because I recall the Korean before the English, I prioritize quickness. So if it happens to be in Korean, I will say it in Korean. And if my pronunciation, it's crap.
Fluent in Korean?
Sorry?
You're fluent in Korean? 한국말 하세요?
Yeah.
I don't speak a lot of Korean. I just
안녕하세요.
started learning this month. So.
Yeah.
You're fluent?
No.
Are you?
Not fluent, but what happens that
conversational?
No, not yet. Because I'm focusing on vocabulary, and what happens that most of my experience it's passive input.
No. I see.
Because for me the priority is passive input. But the point is that if it happens that in my brain picks up in a different language the word, I don't care. Because I will understand it.
Yeah, it's kind of code switching. In linguistics, we call it code switching, but kind of with yourself. At least it's understandable. I mean, do you have any like Spanish, Catalan code switching at home?
Not at home.
Sometimes happen, right?
My girlfriend almost doesn't speak Catalan.
I mean, when among two Catalan speakers, there could be some code switching to Spanish, right? At some point.
Yeah. So in the street, more or less, the everyday life.
Yeah.
You will switch languages. I know, many times a day. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and for me, language. Well, I don't write notes in that many languages. I plan to start writing in Spanish and French, but I haven't started yet. I'm just reading and listening a lot. I mean, yeah, I can understand a language in fast speech. Doesn't mean I can just write with much fluency, but for now, I'm just writing in Chinese and English, my native language and English, and for some reason, English feels more intimate for me. Well, my internal dialogues are pretty much all in English, and most of the intellectual thoughts, or even emotional thoughts, I guess, emotions are all in English. So for me, English feels more intimate, but I don't know. I suppose there is a difference. There could be a difference. You know what? Maybe I'll tell you in 10 years when I can write in a lot more languages.
But before this, I have a question. If you have to do mental math, what language it's the easiest
Oh,
to do mental
Chinese.
math.
It's definitely Chinese. There are even studies on this. Like why East Asians are
Uh,
better in math because
okay.
on one syllable, you know?
Yeah, because every number is one syllable. Makes sense. But
Yeah.
I was in a different
Yeah.
direction. It's because not recently, but yesterday, just yesterday, I read part of the article. Well, someone sharing one article that said more or less that regardless of what languages you speak, if you're bilingual, trilingual, doing math, especially mental math, you will prefer your native language.
Oh, I see.
If you want quickness, mental
Uh,
math, you will do your native,
yeah.
regardless if it's easier or not in to pronounce it or whatever.
Yeah, I always find it hard to like pronounce numbers even in English, even how fluent I am with English. I always find numbers difficult. Yeah, that makes sense. But if I have a choice, I would still choose Chinese or Japanese for math just because of the one syllable. Yeah.
That's a perk you have, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, one syllable is so useful, man. I mean, some, you know how in Latin you have those crazy long numbers like uh, unde quadra quinta. You know what that means? Can you guess?
Quattro quinta, 450.
No. That's 39. That's 40
Hmm.
minus one.
Oh yeah, like in Roman,
Unde unde quadra
in Roman language.
quinta. That's
I know.
6 syllables. Oh my god.
The Roman numbers, for instance, that you don't say nine, you say 10 - 1,
Yeah. You
and
say
you put
10
the
minus one.
one
Yeah.
before, so it will be just
Mm,
a one dash or whatever, and an X. That makes
mm-hmm,
it a nine.
mm-hmm,
So it's
mm,
could say -110, let's say.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But still, I mean, that's 6 syllables. What?
yeah, it's a word. Yeah,
Also French, right? I mean, 90, something like that. Four, four. Mm, how do you say product again? Four
yeah, I don't know.
by 20 plus 15, something like that. 80.
And
Yeah.
what I would like to
Yeah. Anyway.
share one insight because now I'm sharing some insights that I had previously, but
Mm-hmm.
also I'm making new insights as we speak today.
Mm,
And then something that so I have my conventions and my flow, and you have your conventions and your flow works for you and
mm,
works for me.
mm,
But
mm.
this is also based on what we do. Even if we do the same, we do what we want. This what we
Mm-hmm.
want is different. So
Yes.
why I take notes like this and like that? Because I almost don't do anything with numbers related to numbers. I still have
Oh,
some
really?
numbers in percentage and some formulas about, for instance, spaced repetition, the algorithms, and all of that. But it's a very tiny part of what they do. So I don't invest much time on formulas and math and stuff like that. That's why my
Mm.
flow works like this and works this
Hmm.
because if it was math, I will take voice. I will rely on voice notes. Oh, two plus over. I will be doing the pros of the formulas, and I
Oh,
think visually will be better and quicker
yeah. You,
instead.
you know, you know. Okay, so in terms of math and internal dialogues, when it's just recounting numbers,
Hmm?
I would use Chinese most of the time because it's a one syllable thing. But if it's calculation or any of the just any of the math stuff, I actually don't internal vocalize at all. I noticed that a while ago. Sometimes
Hmm?
it's just because I don't know how to pronounce it. Well, I do. Most of the time I do. It's very, I mean, I learned it from video. I learned those from videos most of the time. So
Hmm?
I think I think I think if I want to pronounce it, I can always remember how to pronounce it. But most of the time, I just don't pronounce those at all. I mean, if I see a root sign with a number under it, I don't like saying my number. Oh, the root of the sum of this number plus that number. I don't speak to that.
Ah,
I don't speak that to myself.
I think.
Also, also like derivatives and basically I just don't speak to
Yeah.
myself.
So let's say that you don't do the mental prose version of the symbolic math.
Yeah, yeah.
It becomes more
I think
abstract.
that gotta be common, right? I don't think
I don't
that gotta
know.
be very common among
I,
mathematicians.
I will ask this to Paul, among other people. That
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm inclined to think that if let's say that now recently, once again recently, I'm
yeah.
into graph theory, and there's some
Mm,
math involved now. So it's, what I notice is that at some degree I will use SuperMemo, and some degree I won't because I rely on LaTeX and so on.
mm,
So let's say that now, for whatever reason, it grows on me, and I invest more learning in this graph theory. So eventually, what's going to happen is that I will want to take quick notes about this topic. So then, and only then, I will know that if it's useful or not for math. Because then I will
mm,
say, oh yeah, I need 20 seconds of audio just to say something I can visually grasp in 2 seconds. Square root of 2 AC divided into 2
yeah,
plus,
yeah, yeah.
is, oh my god, I see it and boom,
Totally,
I see it already.
totally. Yeah.
That's why I think one of the citations, quotes, sorry, I like, that is adapt what's useful for you, discard what is useless for you, and
Mm.
make the experience your own.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of. I think. I. I think in math it's very easy to just look at those numbers and variables and just immediately have a corresponding concept in your brain that does not rely on language. I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's symbolic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you
It's
say,
symbolic. It's abstract.
yeah,
Yeah.
unless you say it's a symbolic language. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
That's why, for
The
instance,
language is
yeah,
symbolic in itself.
yeah.
In
That's
itself.
why, for instance, in my flashcards, my conventions are symbolic. It's just one character. Now
Yeah.
I don't have any convention longer than one character, unless I'm
Mm,
experimenting with a new convention. So I haven't done the
mm.
decision yet, and when I make the decision, I will have one character representing that. Super quick.
Interesting emoji. Mm,
Emoji, or not necessarily emoji, can be some characters actually from math,
mm.
or that for me are
Oh,
obscure.
yeah.
For me are
Okay.
obscure. Like this means upset, yeah, but for me it means also known as the next thing.
Mm,
I am making this assumption in my collection.
mm. Interesting. Interesting. I have no idea. I mean, I have no I have no idea about this, man. I mean,
But do you
about
use?
its future. Oh, I use it. I know how to use it, let's just say. But its inner workings, I only know the basics. Its future, it's compact uh in the society
Hmm?
and our whole as a species. I have no idea, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I haven't thought about it much and talked to people enough about it. So yeah.
but I don't mean in a philosophical way, existential crisis.
Okay.
That
Okay. Okay.
what is
No
AI and
existential crisis.
humanity? I mean AI in your learning flow. That if you include, if you rely on AI, or what you do with AI specifically.
I asked GPT or any. I just asked them to help me find stuff. Yeah,
Help you
to
find stuff.
find stuff. I don't really like summarizing. I sometimes ask them to summarize for me.
Hmm.
Uh, what else? The picture thing, not too useful for me at least. Learning. I suppose it's just like finding stuff for me. I suppose in learning. Well, I guess the one of the most positive thing would be how it already has a lot, how it will have a lot of impact on the. Yeah, it's the word is impact. I think I said compact. Yeah, sorry, impact. Impact on the education system. Like the class 3, it can do exams very well. Also, I think GPT-4 can already do pretty well on medical exams and stuff.
So you don't use ChatGPT for asking questions or create flashcards, for instance?
Oh no, I don't like that. Asking questions. Well, if I ask questions, I almost always fact check them.
You don't trust ChatGPT.
Well, I mean, no one should trust them. Well, everyone should always do fact check, in my opinion, if they have the time.
I don't know if you have seen Dvorak Solansky video about his flow.
I think so, a little bit, yeah.
And
a little bit. I think.
In his case, he relies on ChatGPT that he systematically prompts. I think he has 2 prompts. That one is to summarize, and the other is to create questions. That those questions are not necessarily flashcards, are just questions like to check your understanding of the text selection.
Test your understanding. Why is that needed? Why is that needed? I mean, don't you know it yourself? Like your understanding about the text, right?
Yeah, it's some kind of guidance. And for instance, what I do agree is that it's a way to discover what's more important. So let's say that I have a topic that is, I'm starting theory, how you call it? Map theory, graph theory, sorry, I was thinking the word. Graph theory, okay. So I graphed them an idea, okay. So how do I know at this very early stage what is more important or what is more fundamental that I can build upon more knowledge, right? So perhaps I came across some golden nugget that then I say, oh man, that will be a lot more useful if I have seen that a lot sooner than now, right? So I think with those questions, it's not necessarily, but it may happen that you make a connection a lot earlier. That, hey, that's a lot more important than I thought. I was doing some assumptions because I'm lacking too much domain knowledge to make good valuations. And with those kind of questions, I can get most of the use at the early stage. And this is diminishing returns. The more I know, the less useful that will be.
I think I see what you mean now. Sometimes it would definitely be more useful, but I guess it all comes down to is it important to you that you know something earlier? And if it does, and using AI helps, then I'm all for it.
Such a good question.
Yeah, for me, sometimes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes it could not be important. Okay, let me rephrase that. Sometimes it's not important to like know everything early enough. Sometimes it's perfectly okay for me to know something later, and it would make no difference. And if I would for some reason pressure myself to know something earlier, then the pressure isn't worth it. So I guess it all comes to the question, is it worth it for you to know something early enough? And AI could definitely be a good tool of that. And in terms of helping you understanding, I just had another thought, like, okay, so AI is helping you with your understanding, and it can prompt you something you don't know earlier enough, so you can do more research on that. But the thing is, sometimes AI is just dumb enough that you don't know it's dumb. Okay,
Hmm.
that's a way of saying it. But my point is, sometimes talking to people, or sometimes just read more, is a better way to talk to AI, because AI is kind of trained to be general. I don't know, trained to be give text in a dumb way. I don't know why I keep saying the word dumb, but
Hmm.
some I do feel like their responses are not that intelligent. Like, it's
Uh,
generic.
yeah, it's
It
superficial.
gives a
Hmm.
generic feeling, really.
Hmm.
Like, when I ask things that are, I don't know, deep philosophical, it definitely makes you feel like they're not a human being.
Hmm.
So I see the point you made by like knowing something earlier and making the connection earlier, but I guess it all comes down to whether you are satisfied with it or not.
Hmm.
Really,
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose some people could definitely be very satisfied with the superficial results. If they're satisfied, I'm fine. I wouldn't comment too much about it. But for me, talking to AI is no way good than talking to people, even dumb people. Okay, that's not nice. Um, okay, that's not nice. But even people who are less, oh my god, I don't want. Okay,
No, no worries, no
you
worries.
know what I mean.
I get. I think I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try to say it nicely. Even people who don't know the field enough or deep enough or
Hmm.
have the required knowledge, people like having conversation to another human being, at least they're actually listening and giving you your thoughts, and you're patient enough and modest enough, most of the time it will give you inspirations.
Hmm.
I mean, I do wholeheartedly. Being a misanthrope as I am, I don't like socializing very much, to be honest. But I
Hmm.
I do believe like talking to anyone would give me inspiration, like literally anyone, if you are modest and patient enough. So that's something AI wouldn't give. I hardly get any good inspiration from AI, really. It is a good researcher, a good assistant, a good summarizer. I'll give it that,
Hmm.
but it's really not intelligent. Like, my definition of intelligent, anyway, I would say.
Yeah, it's a good insight.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
That because I was thinking, for instance, that even if you take, for instance, a kid, a 2-year-old
mm.
kid, that what can you learn from a kid, right? If uh,
Oh,
he
I love kids.
he
I love
can,
talking to kids.
yeah, if a kid can
Mm,
at his age can barely talk, right? How
mm.
can you learn from it? And I discovered later in life that there's you can learn from them. Eh,
Of
that
course.
that you don't take the well-schooled stance that hey, they are dumb, they only have to learn and and then I realized even having a simple conversation with older kids, not 2-year-olds, you get some insights anyways and some feedback, and you learn. There's always a learning experience
Yes.
involved. And with AI, now that you mention it, if I use ChatGPT every single day of my life. Well, if I use a computer or a phone, it's likely we'll use ChatGPT eventually during the day. And I don't get those insights because it's just like me
Hmm.
commanding all the time what I do explicitly and having the answer. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm not having insights that I didn't ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the magic of human
Hmm.
conversation, really. Like, they always know something that is, let's say, deeply, maybe not deeply, just connected to your thoughts.
Hmm.
AI is not capable of doing that, for at least for now. They can give out ideas, but it's, well, as I say, generic. It's
Hmm.
generated. Those are texts, not those are texts that without any individuality. Like, talking to people, their individuality, that would give you a unique aspect into the concept you're having conversation with them. and that is sufficient enough to give you the inspiration that you need to, I don't know, research on your own, to read more, to search more. I mean, I think I my free learning would get nowhere if I don't socialize like at all, don't talk to people at all. I wholeheartedly believe that, like, even though I don't like people generally, most of the people I meet still inspire me in some way, and I think it's a really good idea to keep being modest. Yeah, as you said, 2-year olds can also give you inspirations. I have experienced that. I have tutored young kids, like 6 to 9 years old, for about half a year, and they're really special. Let's say how their brains work. They're very different from adults, and unique in a way. Like all sorts of connections.
Okay.
Hmm.
So trying to backtrack a little with a additional question. You
Hmm.
don't use language models, in this case ChatGPT, but could be any,
Hmm.
to generate images, flashcards, questions. So you just use summaries here and there, but basically is to
Hmm.
find information.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff
It's
is
like the
very,
middleman. So instead of Google, you use the AI
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
pinpoint, hey, look at this, look at that.
I mostly use AI now to search rather than Google. Hmm.
Wow. So you don't use any any artificial intelligence inside SuperMemo, within SuperMemo.
Mm, well, sometimes I paste the links here and there. Well, there are some instances that maybe a chemistry concept that I don't understand well enough, and and there are no good videos and articles on it, and GPT would find me the good material, and I ask it to explain like I'm five. I heard of the term, so
Yeah.
yeah, very
So
that's useful.
we will have to wait for the future when the AI can be plugged from your brain and knows all of the state of your current knowledge and can fine
Oh my
tune.
god!
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's so
it's
Black Mirror.
yeah, it's no longer generic. It's fine tuned for your brain.
Fine tune. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, really. I have no idea if I would look forward to that or not. The whole AI thing is giving me existential crisis. I don't know. Maybe maybe that is too strong a word, but
M- Another question I have,
hmm.
kind of off topic now.
Hmm.
When you're learning, when do you decide to stop the session? If you don't have any limitation of time, bounding, whatever, when you decide it's
Mm.
enough, I move on.
Well, typically my brain just tells me that. My brain just knows enough to tell me, like, when I stop, when I keep learning, when I um, so sort of this is a skill that needs to be trained, I think. This is not something would school, of course, would want you to learn forever, but realistically speaking, you need to train this skill for yourself, I think. And what I do is like sort of a combination of external stuff like plan, but in terms of plan, the restriction is very little. And for now, I only have like 4 hours in the morning, so that's like a continuous learning block. I just I'm just sort of focused to learning in those 4 hour blocks. I set those blocks because I do want to try to exercise in the noon, and if I study for too long, the exercise time would just remain too little. And
So So, for instance, if I take the example of the school setting, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
From 8 to 10, I do this subject. From 10 to 12, this other subject, and then you have these
Mm.
time slots of learning. But if I do whenever I want across the day, I don't have any restriction other than going to sleep and waking up next day. This is kind of loose. That yeah, I don't have any restriction. Uh, and when you say that your brain tells you that it's enough,
Mm.
it's
Mm.
how? It's because it's boring. You feel fatigue. For
Mm.
so for instance,
Yeah,
when you're
could be the
hungry,
reason.
so let's say that eventually you will feel hunger when you haven't eaten for
Uh,
long, right? And you
suppose.
can
Yeah.
describe more or less physiologically. You can describe what hunger is. You have the neurons send some information. This goes to whatever place and organ, chain of reactions,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel that hunger.
Mm-hmm.
So how you feel this sensation that I don't know if there's a name. Let's say it's learning saturation. That bro, move on. I have eaten too much food. I receive those signals in the brain that I have eaten too much, and I feel full in my stomach. So with this analogy is how you will describe
Mm.
that you feel full of learning, let's say,
Yeah.
physiologically.
I suppose
Mm.
the boring, the fatigue, the sense of, oh, okay, I know enough for now is all enough for you to stop. You don't have to just like in terms of eating food. I suppose hunger is the major reason. Mm, the at least the healthy, physiologically speaking, major reason for eating. But in terms of um, oh, maybe not eating, maybe satiating hunger.
Hmm.
But in terms of learning, the you have a lot of reasons, in my opinion. You can be bored. It's it's valid, of course, and
Hmm.
you can be tired. That's also valid. But you can simply just you don't want to learn this for now. That's also that also works too. I mean, you can you can postpone it for one day, for a year if you want to.
Hmm.
Just I suppose I suppose in a learning environment that is free enough, your brain would automatically tells you what to do. Yeah,
When you see your brain, you mean your subconscious.
subconscious. Yeah, I like using the word the brain because I don't know, just listen to your brain,
I
man.
get
Listen
it. Yeah,
to
I get it. Because
listen
at
to your
some degree,
subconscious.
it's what I do. I, Personally, I do disagree with plan, like Piotr Wozniak plans all of his
Mm-hmm.
day ahead.
Uh-huh.
That then you just obey your decisions you have made. You are a
Mm,
slave of that planning, regardless of what
mm,
the brain says later on. So now, if I
mm,
really want to do that, but hey, I plan to have family time now and work later, or now no, I have to work now because the family time will be later according to my
mm,
schedule. And it's no longer what my brain says; it's what my brain said in the past. That
mm.
doesn't have to be true today, now at this present moment.
Uh, your sorry, your brain
Yeah.
doesn't.
So let's say that I plan my day, that I will exercise from 8 to 9, more or less, kind of fuzzy. So without specifying the exact, the precise time. But first, I will do
Mm,
this for about an hour each. Then I will do some learning, take a shower, then have family time or friends or socializing in Discord. It will be in
uh-huh.
family the same slot, something like that, right? But then something occurs that I didn't plan. Like, hey, let's do this call, and it's oh wow, now I want to talk for longer, and it's so long that it's overlapping with the schedule I had in my planning.
Okay.
So now what do I do? Piotr Wozniak will say, no, no, the plan is boss. So I will finish it here, even if I want to continue, because it's what my plan says. It's what my brain decided at the start of the morning, at the start of the day, sorry, or yesterday, or whatever.
Alright.
That's what
I mean, I don't believe that.
you do or you don't,
I don't.
and
I
you don't.
don't. Mm.
So that's why perhaps you do like a middle ground that you only have 4 hours, morning 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hour, this kind of big block,
Hmm.
big time block. And if I want to stop early, I stop early. I wanna stop late, I stop late, but I don't try to stop too late. And if I have something to, if I have something I have to do in the middle, I just to do it. If it
Hmm.
takes too long, I add a slot. But sometimes I'm too lazy to add a slot. It's also fine. I mean, it's kind of just a tool for you to manage your life
Hmm.
a little bit more healthy, more suitable to the circadian rhythm
Hmm.
because well I in modern life it is kind of an issue, to manage a good circadian to manage a life that is suitable to the healthy circadian rhythm. It really is a challenge. I don't think a lot of people is good at managing that in a modern society.
Hmm.
And plan as a tool for that, for me, it kind of sets for example, I have very specific time, sort of, not very specific, to exercise, to eat, to like take shower, to meditate, to close or to read, to wear the red glasses, to close the light, to listen to podcasts before sleep. You know, just trying to get a framework to get all those activities in order at some kind of specific time. And I follow it not because of plan, not because of plan is the boss. It's simply because I know why I made this plan. I made this plan because I want to have a healthy life cycle, and following the plan is helping me with that. So yeah, I think I dislike the idea of saying, I don't know, you should follow plan like you're religious
Hmm.
to it. It sounds weird, but um, I don't know. I think everyone should just do things and have a very clear goal. Like the goal is to make yourself healthy, then keep that in mind and don't lie to yourself. I mean, I don't really see the point of like being so religious to the plan, and
Yeah,
I don't see the point.
because your goal is to have a healthy lifestyle, respecting
Yeah,
the circadian rhythms.
yeah.
But for many people, I think it's my understanding from Piotr, is to maximize the available time, so you get most of
That works
your
too.
time.
I mean,
At least how I perceive the usefulness of plan. That then I can maximize the tasks I do and the outcome I get from my time.
yeah, that works too. But I still don't think if that even that's your goal, that should just be your goal, and and worshiping plan should never be the goal. Be religious to your plan should never just be I don't know, something people take as a given.
Hmm.
Um, you know, um, I guess I guess if you want to like maximize every minute of your day, what you said was right. What you said about like don't do any extra activity and just take the plan as boss. I suppose if the goal is maximize your day, yeah, sure, you should like sort of just follow every plan to the minute. And if you have to prolong things, well, then just prolong it, and plan will help you like I don't know, like how you say, suppress the following slots.
Hmm.
And yeah, it is a good tool for managing life. But kind of giving me pressure, you know, when I was using the weight before. I was also like documenting every activity's time, trying to be precise as possible. That is very stressful.
Yeah.
Even I'm using sleep chart now, I don't exactly try to be very precise with the time. Just you know, the general places in that sleep chart, and it is good enough. I mean, I'm kind of just curious, like what's the what's my maximum alertness time? Like what time of the day I have the best item scores, and am I sleeping later and later every day? Am I getting up earlier and earlier and whatnot? Just those kind of stats is helpful. Like, yeah, haven't been too helpful a few months back, so trying to get back to better health. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
Cool. I like how we started this call today. That we only agreed to talk about SuperMemo, and that's it. There was nothing in a schedule, so everything was on the spot. And I think we can start wrapping up. Not because I want to, it's because I need to. I have something imposed in my real life, so I only have 3 minutes left, basically.
Okay, cool.
So I used the most of my slot available. So yeah. So do you want to
sure.
mention something
Go to sleep.
before we?
No, let's just wrap it up.
Okay, so feel free to speak your mind in the comments if you want. Thank you for watching, and see you incrementally.
You incrementally.